Last night, Miami had all the ingredients you'd want for a win. It started with 8 strong from Brad Hand. How about 4 stolen bases from speedster Dee Gordon? 2 RBI doubles from big Justin Bour. And the return of sweet swinging Christian Yelich. Added up a 5-2 win. Game 3 tonight, Miami and Pittsburgh. On a rainy evening in Miami, the Pirates and the Marlins go at it again. A game apiece in this 4-game series, with the Pirates trying desperately to catch the Cardinals in the Central, and the Marlins trying to make their mark in the last month and a half of this season. Starling Marte and the Pirates ready. Christian Yelich as well. A Jeff Locke, Chris Narveson matchup tonight. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Welcome to Miami. Last night is exactly what the Marlins had in mind when they designed this 2015 team.
Yeah, it was nice to see. You got a little bit of everything. A nice start, certainly a beautiful start from Brad Hand. You got the speed of Dee Gordon and some key base hits. Justin Bour, Christian Yelich, Adeiny Hechavarria as well.
For Yelich, he stepped right out of the disabled list. Gone for 2 weeks, but he didn't miss a beat.
Not at all. It's great to see that swing back of Christian Yelich, certainly in the lineup tonight. It's great to see that Gold Glove back in left field, and it certainly helps making any moves late in the game. Dan Jennings doesn't have to do that. He has that Gold Glove out there. We saw Christian move around really well, so we know the knee felt good. During the time he was on the DL, lots of batting practice, so he was able to swing the bat. And did he swing it last night? He swung it exceptionally well. Was able to come in and score, so the knee looked good. Christian Yelich looked healthy. So did the offense last night.
And Yelich in the lineup. And facing a lefty tonight, Jeff Locke goes for the Pirates. Yelich's numbers against Locke are good. 5 for 14 with a homer and 3 strikeouts. Well, Yelich supplied some hits. Brad Hand had the great start. The big pop was from the big man. Justin Bour at first base had a couple doubles and both knocked in runs.
This has been a real fun season for Justin Bour. He's had his ups and downs, but I'll tell you what, he's made some good adjustments. His first double, he had seen 5 consecutive curveballs and finally was able to get it past the shift. He pounded another double, and all of a sudden, the last 5 games for the big guy, 389 batting average. He's driven in 3 runs. Justin Bour has improved as the year has gone on as well against left-handers.
We'll find out if Miami packs the toolbox again for tonight's matchup against the Pirates. Ichiro still going strong at 41, coming up on some major milestones. Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini discuss when we return. the big leagues since back in 2012. Let's go out to center field. Greg Minervini, Jeff Conine.
All right, Rich, that's going to be fun to watch. See Narveson go at the Pirates. He's had good success against them in his career. We're going to talk a little Ichiro, though, because he had a momentous occasion. It maybe got overlooked a little bit in the Wild game last night, and that was appearance number 10,000.
Plate appearance number 10,000.
Yes.
Not games, but plate appearances.
Yes.
Pete Rose, the only major leaguer to do it quicker than Ichiro. In 14 seasons it took Pete, but last night, 15th season for Ichiro. 81st player in Major League history to reach 10,000 plate appearances. These guys, I hope they're taking advantage of this because they are watching history almost on a nightly basis.
First guy to do it, age 26 or later, when he started his career to get to 10,000. Dan Jennings impressed with that big number.
Wow, that's impressive. And he's still playing, and he's still producing. So, you know, there's still something in the tank, and I think that I've said it before, it speaks volumes to the way he prepares and what he comes to the ballpark every day to do.
Runs shy of 2,000 for his entire pro career, Major League Baseball Japan. 77 hits away from 3,000. Will he get more hits next year in a Marlins uniform?
I would think so. I mean, we're looking at a guy that's going to be possibly getting his 3,000th hit. Anytime you can do that in an organization, you want him in your uniform because of what that milestone represents.
What number do you think he'd like to shoot for, if he could, going into next year? 50, 55?
Yeah, I think he'd probably like to get inside 50 this year on that march next year, because if those three guys are healthy in the outfield, at-bats might be a little thin. He had some injuries out there. He got a lot of at-bats this year.
But he's gotten more than half of the at-bats, the hits that he needed to get to 3,000 this year already. I think that number was about 78 or so, and he's up over that already in terms of hits this season. Chris Narveson will get the start, his first start of the year. They'll take on the Pirates in a matchup of lefties, Locke and Narvi, next on Fox Sports Florida.
Harrison in the box. Chris Narveson to the plate with a high fastball. And this ball game is underway. First pitch brought to you by Pinch a Penny. Josh Harrison, Starling Marte, Andrew McCutchen for the Pirates. Narveson delivers a fastball for a strike. For Narveson, it's been a long time since his start in the big leagues. April of 2012. Look at that, April 15th. A member of the Milwaukee Brewers. And he'll remember 2012, Tommy, not for that start, but he'll remember 12 for the shoulder injury and rotator cuff surgery.
Well, it's been a long road back, so you always like to see anybody, a pitcher, a hitter, make the transition. He's had hip surgery, he's had rotator surgery. The one thing, though, that really stands out, while with the Brewers, Narveson pitched really well against the Pittsburgh Pirates. 4-0 in 6 games and 5 starts with a .297 earned run average.
Harrison is aboard, and the Pirates have their leadoff man on. The Pirates, 4.5 back in the Central, the #1 wild card position. Jan Lexus brings you their starting lineup. You've seen Harrison, right-handed bat heavy is this lineup. Starling Marte in left, Andrew McCutchen in center, Ramos Ramirez in the cleanup spot, Jung Ho Kang at short, Michael Morse. Look at his career numbers against Narveson. Neil Walker at second, Chris Stewart does the catching, and Jeff Locke, the lefty, hits 9th. And here is Marte. So you've got some dangerous right-hand bats. Starting with Marte, then McCutchen, then Ramirez, and then Kang. You can throw in Michael Morse, who swung the bat well as a Pirate.
We've talked about this Pittsburgh ball club and the way their lineup is deep. The other night they had Pedro Alvarez hitting 7th, and he has 20 home runs. It's also very balanced. Clint Hurdle can use some lefties, he can use righties. He has Neil Walker, the switch hitter. So very balanced lineup the Pirates have.
It is, and it's you've got McCutchen is kind of the spoke, and everybody just kind of rotates around him. He's been in that 3 spot for 5, 6 terrific years. You see Clint Hurdle, McCutchen waiting on deck. And Marte swings and fouls it into the glove of Real Muto. Holds it for a strikeout. Strikeout for Narveson. Here's the defense for the Marlins.
Brought to you by BMW. It sets up with Yelich, the Gold Glover, Ozuna, and Cole Gillespie gets the start in right field. Martin Prado, Echeverria on the left side. Miguel Rojas starts. He gives D. Gordon a little bit of a breather. Dustin Boers at first, and JT Real Muto behind the plate.
Now McCutchen. This is game 3 of a 4-game set, and McCutchen has hit lasers all over the ballpark. Doubled last night in the first, also singled. Had 2 hits and a double in game 1. And his outs have been laser beams as well. A strike, 0-1.
Think about it. Chris Narveson actually began his career in the Marlins organization, pitched some games in A-ball, pitched for Jupiter, had a couple of starts, and then moved on to AAA.
A walk, a strikeout, and a couple of strikes to McCutchen. Counts 0-2. McCutchen now 28, Fort Meade, Florida. 3rd in the MVP vote last year. He was the MVP 2 years ago. All he did was hit .314, a .410 on base, and a .542 slug last year. And a throw over to first, and a quick check on him this year. His slash line at .299, .400, and .514. Those are MVP type numbers. Mix in the defense and center, and the leadership. You've got a flagship player on your ball club. Count stays at 0-2. And of course, a great athlete growing up in Fort Meade. McCutchen, first round pick back in 2005. Narveson, a check of Harrison. And McCutchen hits another liner. This one goes into the corner. Harrison is racing for third, around third, coming home, and he will score. And Andrew McCutchen has done it again. His third double of the series, his fifth hit.
Boy, he reacts and is so quick. A fastball, he turns on it, and as you pointed out, Rich, just about every ball he's hit in this series has been hit sharply. That one quickly into the left field corner. Harrison runs really well, so he was able to score from first base. But Andrew McCutchen just adding on to a possible MVP trophy.
And here is Aramis Ramirez. You talked about the balance in this lineup. The Pirates don't have a few things that people think you have to have in your lineup to be successful. They don't have a great on-base guy in the leadoff spot. Harrison leading off in this one is at 308 on base. Last night, Polanco, he's at 331. Clint Hurdle doesn't have a 30 homer guy, right? I mean, McCutchen's hit 19. There's a bouncer out to short. Ed Chavarria. There's the second out.
But we talked about all those doubles, the extra base hits, the hitting with runners in scoring position. McCutchen's been outstanding.
And it's a thick lineup. Guys down in that 7 and 8 spot can hurt you. Last night, Harrison hit 7th. Jordy Mercer was 8. Neil Walker 7. Chris Stewart 8 tonight. And here is Jung Ho Kang. And he fits right in with this bunch, doesn't he?
Boy, doesn't he, though. And he's another one that's had a solid year with runners in scoring position. Last 33 games for Jung Ho Kang. He's hit over 330.
Another guy at 20 doubles. Polanco's got 26. Ramirez has 24. Marte with 24.
I know in the case of Aramis Ramirez, a lot of those were with Milwaukee, but he's still a guy who's had over 20 doubles this year.
Well, I'll throw Josh Harrison at you. He's got 20 doubles as well. A run across. Andrew McCutchen, another RBI double. 1-2 from Narveson is out. And it's 2-2. Last night, kind of a similar start for Brad Hand. Pirates came out, got a run in the first. Double by McCutchen. Ramirez chased him home with a single. And that was it for Hand. 8 innings, just that one run. And Narveson gets the strikeout, brings it back, and strikes out Kang. Pirates again strike first tonight. It's 1-0. to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Vico Painting Contractors. For top quality work, excellent customer satisfaction, visit vicopainting.com. By AutoNation. Save on over 70,000 vehicles now. Visit us online at AutoNation.com. And by National Car Rental. Go national. Go like a pro. In Miami, the Marlins facing lefty Jeff Locke. And it's Cole Gillespie who will lead it off against the lefty that the Marlins have seen over time.
We talked a little bit about Locke. He came over in that deal along with Charlie Morton when the Braves wanted an outfielder and acquired Nate McLouth. Done a pretty good job. 2-2 in his career. 6 starts against the Marlins.
And a strike to Gillespie. Miguel Rojas and Martin Prado will follow. A couple of left-handed bats getting the night off. Ichiro and D. Gordon. And as a result, you got Gillespie leading off in right and Rojas playing second, hitting second.
It's something that Dan Jennings certainly thought about during this stretch of 20 consecutive games.
The ground ball, Moore stretches out and steps on the bag.
And that's giving certain guys nights off every now and then.
This is how the Marlins lineup looks. It's brought to you by JM Lexus. We told you about Gillespie and Rojas. Martin Prado in the 3 spot. Justin Bour in there against the lefty. Marcell Ozuna in center. Yelich in the 6th spot. JT Realmuto, Adeiny Hechavarria at short, and Chris Narveson hits 9th. Miguel Rojas takes a strike.
Rojas has been a very versatile player. He's had 3 starts at second, 4 counting tonight, 6 at third, and a couple at short.
High pop-up. Chris Stewart tosses the mask and makes the catch. Apologize not for the pop-up, but for the expletive that followed it. And here comes the defense. No apologies for the Pirates. They're brought to you by BMW.
No, not at all. With Marte, McCutchen, Josh Harrison gives Polanco a night off. Aramis Ramirez, the veteran. Jung Ho Kang at short. Neil Walker and Michael Morse over on the right side of the infield. And as you pointed out, Chris Stewart is the catcher. He will give Cervelli a night off.
Marlins aren't sad to see that guy in the dugout. He had some big swings early in this series. Strike to Prado. Marlins contained him last night. He was 0 for 4. He had 4 hits on Monday, including 2 of the hardest doubles you'll see.
Might be the first time he's gone hitless at Marlins Park.
That's right. He was 13 for 22 going into last night. Prado up there. Martin 3 hits in the series, a double. Doesn't it always seem that when the Marlins play the Pirates, Locke follows Morton or Morton follows Locke? Because you end up being able to drop Gorky Hernandez name into both of those games.
A couple of nights in a row.
Because they were both in that trade, Locke and Morton, and so was Gorky Hernandez going from Atlanta to Pittsburgh.
I believe that's how things fell into place in Pittsburgh in that series there.
Here is the 2-2. Prado hits one to left and hits it well. Back goes Marte at the wall. Gone! 1-1.
You know, I was watching, and obviously Martin Prado picked it up well. Little hesitation in the delivery of Jeff Locke. He kind of turns, not quite Johnny Cueto type, but gives you that. Well, it didn't fool Martin Prado. He got a pitch middle in and had a very, very aggressive swing. We've seen more of those over the last couple of weeks from Prado.
Here is Bour, and he can't check his swing.
All right, here it is. A little hesitation right there. Not going to fool Martin Prado. and he uncorks.
Bour swings and misses, and the count is 0-2. So Pratto ties the game, his 6th homer. Bour just gets a piece. 0-2. Bour last night, despite the effort of the Pirates in an extreme shift, banked 2 balls through that shift. One in between the first baseman and the second baseman for a double. He hit it that hard. And the other down the line. That one sounds like he busted his bat. And the double he had down the line, Michael Morse was only a couple steps away from the baseline. He's playing more off the line now than he was last night. And Bour hit it so hard, Morse didn't have time to stretch out and stop it.
Yeah, so many times you see hitters, especially lefties, will pull balls into the shift, but Bour pulled balls through the shift last night. I think he's had better swings too over the last couple of months with a little more playing time. Better swings against left-handed pitching.
Behind the count, 0-2. And a fastball at 93 gets him. But Martin Pratto has tied this game. A run apiece. Pirates, Marlins, and Miami's comes on a long ball from Martin Pratto. Martin Pratto, mouthpiece out, ready to go defensively. In the second, Michael Morse stands in and takes inside. Tommy detailed the history that Chris Narveson has against the Pirates. He did not face Michael Morse when Morse was a Pirate, obviously. That one fouled back and out of play. And maybe that's a good thing, because Morse, in a small sample size, has really crushed Narveson. 6 for 9 with 3 home runs. Breaking ball, and he drills it to the wall. Morse around first, and he's got himself a double. How about that? Michael Morse is 7 for 10 with 3 homers and a double in his career against Narveson. And obviously he hasn't seen Narveson in about 3 or 4 years.
There's a curved ball, drops right there, and Michael Morse pulls that pitch so well. Extended, got on it. He's done a nice job since becoming a Pittsburgh Pirate. And as you pointed out with their lineup, he fits in really well, especially against left-handed pitching.
Switch hitting second baseman Neil Walker now. Well, a challenge for Narveson, number one, get some outs, and number two, pitch deep into the game.
Well, that was the key last night for Brad Hand to go 8 innings. Because you knew coming into this one, because he'd been working out of the bullpen, you're not going to get 8 innings from Narveson.
And the Marlins aren't going to get that ball either. It's going to land in the gap, picked up there by Gillespie. Morse trots home. Back-to-back doubles. Greet Narveson here in the second. Morse and then Walker.
Quietly, Neil Walker has put together a really nice career. He's one of the most productive second basemen in the National League. Switch hitter. A lot of hang time, but a lot of room in that gap as well. Michael Morse holds his ground, then sees it drop and scores easily.
Yeah, 27 doubles, 13 homers for that man, Neil Walker. Here's Chris Stewart, and then you got the pitcher Jeff Locke. With all the injuries and trades, the Marlins rotation thin. Even some of the replacements have dropped with injuries. Kendrick Flores out, tendonitis, and that brought Narveson from the pen into this rotation.
It's a shame that, you know, young pitchers, in the case of Flores, unfortunately, remember the comebacker that got Jose Urena, guys who were given an opportunity. Henderson Alvarez, we know what he can do when he's healthy. But in the case of those others, guys who were given the opportunity and unfortunately with injuries aren't able to show it.
Yeah, those are the two big replacement guys who have ended up hurt.
On the other hand, Adam Conley, Justin Nicolino, Brad Hand continues to throw the ball well.
2-1 pitch, bouncer up the middle. Edge won't get it. It's in the center, and the Pirates add to their lead. Chris Stewart, 3 consecutive hits, open the second for Pittsburgh.
We have talked about their lineup, and with Stewart starting behind the plate tonight, the Pirates in the 3 games here have played all 13 position players in the first 3 games of this series. 12 players have started. The only one who hasn't started is Sean Rodriguez, but he's been in the games.
And that is a sign of a team, especially when you get to the postseason, that can match up regardless of the pitching that they're facing. Clint Hurdle knows all about that, keeping guys sharp. Prado going to go to second, got it out there, and Etch will hold on to it. So Stewart is out. Nice play by Prado. Finally an out. Here comes Josh Harrison. And a reminder that the only way to guarantee access to the All-Star game in 2017 is by placing a 2016 Marlins season ticket deposit down. Join the Fish family today. 1-877-MARLINS. Go to marlins.com/tickets.
Yeah, this is why this Pirate team is certainly an intriguing team. You look at postseason, they have that ace in a Garrett Cole, who the Marlins will see tomorrow night. Of course, the Cubs with Lester and Arrieta. The Cardinals, they're loaded with some aces. So it's a tremendous division, the National League Central.
There's Garrett Cole. See that ERA at 2.49. Justin Nicolino gets the ball for the Fish. From that point forward, here are the next 4 starters that the Marlins will see. Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer, Jordan Zimmerman, and a rejuvenated Steven Strasburg.
So basically, you're talking about 4 number 1s.
when they're right. And Strasburg, coming off the disabled list,
had a good outing his last time out.
Looks like he's back in form. Zimmerman much better now than he was early in the season. Scherzer has had his dominant moments. Cole's been steady from day one.
Yeah, Strasburg last night against San Diego, 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs.
And right now, for Narveson, it's a real struggle. Narveson, the long man in the bullpen, hopping into the rotation, which leaves the Marlins really without one guy that they can turn to tonight. They certainly can go to multiple guys, and you can thank Brad Hand for that last night.
Absolutely. Yeah, there were a lot of things that 8 innings did to help this ball club. So Brad Hand not only picked up a win for himself, for the ball club, threw well, but just helped the bullpen for tonight.
Here is Marte, struck out in the first.
Longest outing of Brad's career.
And you know what? If it doesn't open the ninth with the little swinging bunt up the third base line, which was a great pitch, maybe he does get over the hump and finish that ball game. Marte trying to visit the Clevelander with that swing.
Well, Narveson has a couple of tough righties back to back with Marte and then McCutchen.
Liner into right center field. Well hit. Ozuna over to cut it off. It'll score 1 as Locke comes around to score. Harrison reaches third. And right now, Chris Narveson is not fooling anyone. There's some activity in the Marlins pen. Some guys starting to stretch. And I think that pace will be quickened here.
Just tough to have pinpoint control. You see that pitch right down the middle. Tough to have the pinpoint control when you have been inactive as far as starting.
Trip to the mound for Chuck Hernandez. 4-1 Pittsburgh. Remember the other night in a similar spot, there were probably 4 or 5 guys stretching, walking around. And I think that's emblematic of the fact that the Marlins really don't have that designated long man down there.
It's like tonight, nobody wants to answer the phone.
Eric Cordier is the first to start to throw. Now McCutchen, who doubled his first time up. Oh, 0-1. One of the guys the Marlins really miss right now is Andre Rienzo. The Brazilian, who is a guy that can be stretched out into 3-4 innings at a time. Narveson gets a couple strikes on McCutchen. Counts 0-2. Three runs here on 4 hits and a walk in the second. 1-2. Runner goes, and so does that ball. Deep and gone, and McCutchen has busted it wide open.
seen fastballs hit, and this was a mistake changeup, and it didn't take long for McCutchen, belt high, to absolutely crush it. Home run number 20. 4 RBIs already for Andrew McCutchen. He's at 85 on the year.
Aramis Ramirez pops it up, Bohr to the wall, and he makes the catch. That's just the second out of the inning. Number 20 for McCutchen, who now sits at 85 runs driven in with the 4 he has tonight.
We talked about it last night. His 4-year average, and that's not counting this year, so he's going to be right there. 25 home runs, 88 RBIs.
Gung, right center. And Ozuna's throw keeps him to a single. And the hits right now, unfortunately, for Narveson keep coming.
This is not how Chris Narveson planned it. This isn't how Chuck Hernandez and Dan Jennings mapped it out for tonight.
That phone call down to the bullpen to see if Cordier is ready. Michael Morse, he has doubled. 3 doubles, a homer, 3 singles, and 2 walks. And the Pirates are still hitting in the second. Morse, right center. Ozuna at the track makes the catch. 6 runs for Pittsburgh in the second. 7-1 Pirates. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Well, the Marlins got a home run in the first, but it looks rather lonely up on the scoreboard right now, down 7-1. Marcell Ozuna, Christian Yelich, JT Realmuto, Jeff Locke has a nice big lead. We'll see how he handles it. Locke has not been great. His last 6 starts, his ERA over 6. Ozuna fouls it off. Pittsburgh last night, in losing to Miami in the hyper-competitive National League Central. A liner to right, and Ozuna finds the corner and the wall and second base with a double. Well, it's a big hole, but to get out of it, you got to dig one at a time.
Well, and if Locke keeps making pitches like that, you have an opportunity to do that. Good job by Ozuna. Pitch up and away, and a shot down into that right field corner.
Here is Yelich now. In this division right now for the Pirates, one loss can cost you on both ends, and it did last night for Pittsburgh. Pirates fell 4.5 back of the Cardinals, and the Cubs gained a game. Cubs are just 2 back in that second wild card spot, 2 back of the Pirates, who are the first wild card team. So everyone may say they're not scoreboard watching, but you know that they are.
Oh yeah, the Cubs on the West Coast in San Francisco, 8-5 win against the Giants last night. Jake Arrieta won his 16th game.
There's your wild card standings as well, and you see Pittsburgh's bulge for the #1 spot, which is home field advantage for the wild card game, singular. They lead the Cubs. Yelich pulls it, and Walker gets it to Morse to get the outs. Last time the Marlins saw Jeff Locke in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it was May 26th. It was a 5-1 win eventually for Locke, but just 4 hits, no runs in his 5 2/3. He didn't have the best of command. You see the 4 walks, but threw the ball well. Now his last start, you were talking about, he hasn't had as good of outings lately. His last start was against the Giants, a loss. He gave up home runs to Marlon Byrd and Madison Bumgarner.
Realmuto takes a strike. JT in the 7th spot tonight. He's got the infield back. Marcell Ozuna at 3rd, and 1 out. By the way, those 2 teams that are involved with the Pirates, the Cardinals and the Cubs, they're all out on the West Coast. Cubs in San Francisco, Cardinals in Arizona.
Why is it every time you look at a Cardinal lineup, you'll see a kid that they just brought up, 3 for 5 last night, Tommy Pham. That's with a PH, Rich. PHAM.
We talked about what George Kissel and the Cardinal way when we were in St. Louis, and that's one of the trademarks of the Cardinals organization, is their players as they rise up their system. It's not just, hey, let's just move the guy to move the guy. You got to earn it, and you have to
earn it our way.
Right, the Cardinal way. Here's a 1-2. Realmuto sends it up the middle. That'll score the run. Ozuna crosses. Nice job by JT. And Miami picks up a run at 7-2 Pittsburgh. Now Echeverria. He had an odd night last night, did Adeiny Echeverria. He doubled and he tripled. Block on over to first. But of course, Echeverria was thrown out at third on the double, and after the triple, he was thrown out at home. That was weird. The Pirates. Hashtag FL Data Strong Fan. Send us your photo. Have a good smile. And maybe you'll make it on the postgame show. Or later in the ballgame.
Even if you're wearing a Pirate jersey.
It's got the digital camo cap. Neil Walker at the plate. Walker lines it. Look out, everybody. Ball and a strike. Walker doubled and drove in a run in the second. 6 runs in that second. And Andrew McCutchen 3-run homer, one of the highlights. Ozuna in. And there's one out.
This is also one of those outings for Chris Narveson where he may have to just take it for the team for another couple of innings.
Chris Stewart now. Stewart had an RBI single in the second. Dan Jennings, Marlins manager, will join us in the 4th inning. Get a quick state of the team, an idea on when Giancarlo Stanton will be back. Who's the first starter that returns? Probably a Jared Cozart by all indications. Count 1-2.
You know, you look at certain numbers, and the Pirates are 22-7 in the 29 games that Stewart has started. So that's an incredible number for your number 2 catcher.
There's other numbers that jump off the page. Since May 9th, they have the best record in the major leagues, 62-33. Last year, they were at 64-60 at this point. 75-49 going into play tonight.
Well, Clint Hurdle really cultivates a winning atmosphere in his clubhouse.
And we talk about how tough the Central is. And all you have to do is look at the Pirates' record against divisions and interleague. Because against the Central, in which the Pirates are 4.5 back of first place, they're 8 under, 21-29. Bohr, with help, it's Rojas. Tommy, you go outside of the Central, and the Pirates have absolutely dominated. 19-4 against the West, 22-9 against the East, against the American League, 13-7.
That's incredible.
Jeff Locke.
On the other hand, the Cardinals have cleaned up on the Central. 32-18.
And so a quick question would be, well, how have the Pirates done against the Cardinals? They are 6-7.
I think most of those wins are in Pittsburgh, too.
Little tapper, and Locke is thrown out by Prado. Chris Narveson, a 1-2-3 third, 7-2 Pittsburgh.
It's only happened one time, believe it or not, in the long history of the Florida and Miami Marlins. It's only the second time that they've ever played exclusively two teams from Pennsylvania. The last time, way back in 1994, the second year of Marlins baseball, they beat the Phillies 3-1. They lost to the Pirates 2-1 in May of '94. Chris Hammond won a couple of games then. Richie Lewis and David Weathers also won. And in one of those games, the Marlins left 17 men on base. That was a record and still stands today. It was tied once in 2004. The Marlins have made a trip on the road a few times to these two cities exclusively. And they also had the Pirates and Phillies in town with the Giants on a different homestand and that was back in 2000. So a little Pennsylvania history for the Fish here at home.
Very nice. Thank you, Craig. Jeff Luck with a 5-run lead now. Marlins have a run in each inning. And Chris Narveson leads it off. He takes a strike. It's 2-1. Top of the order, Cole Gillespie, Miguel Rojas to follow. Bottom third.
So it's been a nice homestand for the transplanted Pennsylvanians. Richie Lewis, there was a name out of the past from Craig, out of Florida State.
Narveson swings and misses. Locke gets the strikeout with a fastball. And there is one out. Speaking of history and speaking of things that are rare in Marlins history, the way this rotation sets up now, Brad Hand last night, Chris Narveson tonight, Justin Nicolino tomorrow night, and then Friday night in Washington, Adam Conley. If everything holds, it'll be the first time in Marlins history that the Fish have ever started 4 lefties in a row. It's happened a few times in baseball this year. Most recently, the White Sox. Into the bat for Gillespie. Marte back now over. He makes the catch at the tip of the captain, Joe Vieira, for looking that one up for us.
And remember, the Marlins went so long without having a left-hander in the rotation. So yeah, that's pretty incredible. Adam Conley, he'll get that start, as you pointed out.
And Max Scherzer will be his opponent
Friday night, Nationals Park.
That'll be interesting to get
a feel of what's going on there. Yeah.
Right now, the Padres are at Nationals Park and leading 4-0 in the bottom of the third.
And the Mets have a 3-0 lead in Philadelphia. They continue to play well.
Of course they do. Although I don't think they've hit a home run.
No home runs. Trying to make it 6 in a row.
When we get back, top 4, Dan Jennings will join us. Down the right field line, and Rojas has found himself a hit and extra bases. Harrison in the corner. Marlins second baseman with a double. That gives Prado a shot to drive in another run.
Yeah, the Marlins have 3 hits tonight. There's that changeup that kind of fades away, but it stays up. When it stays up, a hitter's eyes light up. The Marlins with 3 hits, 2 doubles, and a home run.
You can see Rojas's eyes light up and him go into attack mode when he identified changeup outside part. Teams will take rounds of batting practice on pitches just like that. And the hitting coach, Frank Menachino, Lenny Harris in Miami's case, will make sure hitters stay inside the ball and drive it to right field.
We haven't looked at the scouting report on this 27-year-old lefty. We've seen his assortment of pitches. That fastball tails away. Not quite a 12-6, but he spikes that curveball. He likes to use the changeup even more in situations like this.
Prado hit a changeup, well, probably about 380 feet into the Pirates bullpen in left field. Rojas at second. Chris Stewart on his way out to the mound. barrage. Ray Searage, pitching coach for the Pirates.
I think the last few years sometimes gets overlooked. Not if you're involved in baseball. Ray Searage has done a tremendous job with their pitching staff.
Three and two. Toronto, a bouncer out to short. Dung across in time. And Miami done in the third. Dan Jennings joins us when we return. We're joined by Dan Jennings, skipper of the Marlins. We thank him for his time. Dan, how are you tonight?
Well, we got a lot of baseball left, but right now we got a hole to crawl out of.
What have you seen from Narveson? What has been his biggest challenge tonight?
Well, the location. He's getting pitches up in the zone, and the top of this order, you do that to him, and they'll make you pay.
It makes you, I'm sure, pleased at the job Brad Hand did last night, giving you 8 innings, though, doesn't it?
That was tremendous. Great effort by him, and really stepped up when we needed it. And wish he could have got the complete game, but you know what? He knows it's in reach, and I think that he'll continue to grow like he's done his last few starts.
1-1 to Harrison. Great to see Christian Yelich back, and amazing that he can miss 2 weeks and come out and have swings like that last night.
Yeah, Christian is a special hitter, and we've talked about it many times. You know, we feel like one day he's got a chance to win a batting title, and wanted to ease him back in, so we put him in the 6th spot, but he'll gradually move up, and probably as early as tomorrow we'll move him up. So
that one fielded by Rojas. Bohr ventured a little too far from the bag, and it's going to be an infield hit for Josh Harrison.
Can't give these guys extra outs. They will hurt you.
Speaking of batting titles, Dee Gordon is vying for one. A night off tonight. How do you plan to use him the rest of the year?
You know what, because we're in this stretch of 20 straight, I had told Dee a few days ago we would give him a day. We talked about it perhaps during the Philly series, and you know, when you're in a stretch like this, you got to give a guy every now and then, especially one who uses his legs the way Dee does, to give him a day so that we can try to run him out there and get consistent play out of him.
Starling Marte, the hitter, and time called.
DJ, people want to know, they ask a lot about the big guy, Giancarlo. What do you hear, and how soon will it be before he comes back?
Well, based on yesterday and some conversations I've had with G, he's looking somewhere between a week and a week and a half, and he'll certainly be a welcome addition back in this lineup. I see he's still on the leaderboard at the 5 spot in home runs, and he's missed basically almost 2 months. So, you know, we're just a different lineup when he's in the middle of it. The opposing managers know where he is. They keep an eye on him, and it just puts other guys in the correct places.
DJ, one more question coming. When will you get help in your rotation? First injured starter back to center. Ozuna is there. Runner tags. Harrison at first. Ozuna makes the catch. Harrison stops. Great throw by Ozuna. Who's back first in your rotation?
It appears that Jared Cozart, who's going to, he'll have a start tomorrow between 60 and 65 pitches. Just trying to get him stretched out. Jose will begin throwing some bullpens and some sim games, and somewhere early to mid-September, I think you'll see him back. So, again, these guys, you know, when you lose guys in your rotation, pieces like that, it's good on one hand for the young guys to get an opportunity to showcase themselves, but in terms of going out, the experience factor and having Jared and Jose back will be huge for us.
All right, DJ, thanks for the visit. Good luck the rest of the way tonight.
Okay, guys, thanks.
Thanks for taking the time, DJ.
Andrew McCutchen has done damage tonight. RBI double, a bolt to left, and a blast, a 3-run homer in that same direction in the second. Pirates box score. As Tommy pointed out, it's a balanced lineup. It's been a balanced attack tonight.
Yeah, and you heard Dan Jennings talking about location. That's what Narveson needs. He's had a little better job of that in this inning. Good pitch there.
And he gets McCutchen. So Narveson a 1-2-3 third, and he's got 2 outs here in the 4th.
He should have had a 1-2-3 4th. I don't know what happened on that little bloop out toward first base. There's great location to get a terrific hitter to chase it.
One 1-0 to Aramis Ramirez, who's 0 for 2.
One of the pitchers the Marlins will not see in Washington, D.C. is Gio Gonzalez, and Miami kid getting roughed up tonight. 6 hits and 5 runs in his 4 innings to San Diego. Justin Upton's homered.
Two and 1. Rick Sofield, third base coach. Garrett Cole, Justin Nicolino. South Florida Honda dealers just get you going tomorrow night at 6:30. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine at their appointed time, at their appointed station. Runner goes, pitch is fouled, and that clanged off the mask of JT Real Muto as he rose out ready to throw. This is where a catcher gets exposed, Tommy. Coming up, all of a sudden, a lot of the areas that are protected are unprotected.
Are not protected. Yeah, as soon as the catcher comes out of that crouch to try to get in his position, get the feet moving, footwork correct to make that throw, it can be very vulnerable.
Dodgers are off to a quick start. 6-0 over Cincinnati. Van Slyke, Ellis, that would be A.J. Ellis, Yasiel Puig, all with home runs.
Not Mark Ellis. We used to see Mark Ellis a lot.
I almost said that. It must have been the Gator fan.
Yeah,
a little small Gator fan in mind.
Well, he was a Dodger.
Yes, he was.
He was a Cardinal. He was an Oakland Athletic.
Bohr.
And he was a very solid player.
And he was.
Mark Ellis was.
So the Dodgers are up 6-0 over Cincinnati. That game in Cincinnati. Top 4. That's ball 4. So Narveson has to face Gung. Already pushing 80 pitches is Narveson. Call going down to the bullpen to see if Cordier is ready. And Jennings is coming out, and he's going to go get Cordier to face Gung and avoid another big Pirate inning. Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. A 6-run second, the downfall of Chris Narveson tonight. Eric Cordier
Making his fourth appearance, the 29-year-old had a chance to see him pitch. Not his major league debut, but when he came in and pitched in Milwaukee. Kid born in Green Bay. It was a thrill for him.
Our Toyota Trend. South Korean-born major league players. 3 have played for the Marlins. Hee-Seok Choi, Tommy Phelps, and
Tommy, a
Kim.
military kid.
I know. BK Kim, who was a lot of fun in 07.
So was Choi. Hee-Seok Choi, if my memory's right, hit 10 home runs in April. Got off to an incredible start.
The delay there, the music, and the energy team was still dancing, but the music trailed on a lot longer than it should have. Here's Cordier. A one-hopper. Oh, Echeverria, great pick. That's not easy. Etch going to his knee. A short hop backhand. And gets the out. Nicely done. 7-2 Pittsburgh. 5-Hour Energy Shots. Have you tried great tasting 5-Hour Energy lately? And by Checkers, Epic Meals, Epic Deals. In Miami tonight, the Pirates have bounced back from last night's Marlins win. A 7-2 lead in the bottom of the fourth. Justin Moore, Marcell Ozuna, and Christian Yelich against Jeff Locke. Shift is on. Moore against the lefty. Takes a fastball for a strike. Moore struck out swinging back in the first. Pirates, the most aggressive infield shifting team in baseball. Clint Hurdle. Certainly a guy you would classify as old school in many ways.
Yeah, Clint Hurdle does a great job in mixing the two, old school and new school.
Moore with a little tapper just gets past the mound. He's going to have a base hit, an infield hit. And when you shift that to that extreme, a little ball that gets by the pitcher, that's a hit.
Hey, you live by the ship, sometimes you die by the ship. Look at all this room in here. That's because the infielders are all the way back. They're all shifted over. And the only guy that can make this play is the pitcher. Because he's left-handed, Locke falls off a little bit to the third base side. He can't get there. And he legs it out. Justin Moore will take it.
Third hit of the series. Ozuna doubled in the second. Cracks one into left field. That's a hit. And Miami has something going here in the fourth.
When you see Marcell Ozuna swing at pitches that are strikes, boy, he just becomes a much better hitter. He goes out of the zone a little bit too often. And when he does that, pitchers can eat him up. But he's hit a couple balls hard tonight. He's 2 for 2.
Here is Yelich. That Padres lead in D.C. is now 5-1. Marlins are headed to Washington, D.C. I want to say tomorrow night, but in reality it's Friday morning early. A night game here and then a flight to D.C. after the game, which means about a 3:30 arrival. Three against the Nationals and then on to Atlanta.
It's funny. Well, it's not really that funny, but every team has those kind of early morning arrivals.
There's a roller towards the bag. Walker. And Gung's relay is in time. Yelich rolls into a double play.
Pirates had one coming in here.
Yeah, they did. They had a late Sunday night game and then arrived here on Monday and beat the Marlins. Realmuto knocked in a run with a ground ball out. That won't do here. There's 2 down.
Yeah, that was a big play for the Pirates to get the double play, make it tougher for the Marlins to get a run here.
Scott McGough.
Just thinking right now, see in the American League, when you have a situation where you want to maybe extend a guy out of the bullpen, you don't have to worry about this situation right here. One pitch, Portier got out of the inning, so he's certainly fresh, but if all of a sudden the Marlins get a few more guys on base, you got a pinch hit for him, and then you have to go to the bullpen again.
Realmuto to center. Hit it hard. McCutchen makes the catch. And Miami comes up empty in the fourth. Sign up to get ticketing updates, breaking news, and all information relating to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game and All-Star Week at Marlins Park, July of 2017. Go to marlins.com/ASG.
The Cuban sandwiches, Taste of Miami, will be a hot item for the All-Star Game.
Well, Marlins Park will be a cool place, which will be welcome in mid-July. Michael Morse, Eric Cordier, who finished the fourth. Chris Narveson, 3 2/3 innings, 7 runs, 8 hits. Final game, 4-game set tomorrow. Pirates have Garrett Cole, third best road ERA in the National League. One of the aces in the National League. Justin Nicolino going for Miami. I know it's early in the ball game I'm about to talk about. Angels and Tigers in Detroit. Justin Verlander has not given up a hit. Tigers lead the Angels 1-0. I'm just saying. That's a nice pitch. Cordier bends one in there and gets Morse.
You talked a little bit about Cordier, 29-year-old, over 250 games in the minor leagues before he got an opportunity last year, 7 games with the Giants.
And to overcome injuries and just hang in there. Minor league life is not easy. People think the life of a minor league player is Kevin Costner and Duke LaLoosh and all of that. And there's good times and it's fun, but minor league players don't make a whole lot of money. The travel is really tough.
I'm trying to think. Either read an article or there was a documentary, especially the low minor leagues where the pay really isn't that good. If you factor in all the time and then the salaries, it's less than minimum wage that these guys are making to try to reach the dream of Major League Baseball.
In AAA and in some cities in AA, it's commercial air travel. And if you say, well, that's not bad, commercial air travel. There are fewer off days, so there really aren't travel days built in. So oftentimes you're playing a night game in one city and waking up at 4 in the morning after a night game to get to the airport to catch your commercial flight.
Get that first flight out.
First flight out, 6 a.m.
And then a lot of times going to the ballpark once you land.
And if you're a big guy, you're sitting in coach, not sure who you're next to. One, two. Pitches in. A lot of times players as well will during the day have to find a gym. They want to go lifts. Although with more and more new ballparks in the AAA and AA cities, those are coming with nice workout rooms and weight facilities. Echeverria makes the catch. Geico presents this date in Marlins history. Richie Lewis, second appearance on the show tonight. First Marlin reliever to earn a win and a game-winning RBI. 13th inning single was his first hit in the big leagues.
Yeah, how about that? Two Richie Lewis mentions tonight. Yeah, and as talking about the minor league facilities, as college programs have progressed and really gotten tremendous, especially in some of the big conferences, some of the college facilities are much nicer than the minor league facilities.
Gillespie makes the catch. A nice 1-2-3 inning for Eric Portier. Halfway through, 7-2 Pirates. Red Sox and the red hot Mets. AL East leading Yankees. Wait a minute. Battling the Braves. Coverage begins next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, right here on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. 7-2 Pirates. Here's Adeiny Hechavarria. I think when they wrote that promo, Tommy Hutton, the Yankees were ensconced in first place.
Yeah, they hadn't played Houston. They had beaten by Houston the last 2 days, and the Blue Jays hadn't gotten as hot as they've been.
Someone had not. That one's drilled. Left field. Will it stay fair? No. Hechavarria got every bit of it and lifted it foul. The Blue Jays a one-game lead in the East.
Adeiny Hechavarria came into this game second in the National League in batting average against lefties. I think you'd be surprised who's first. First against left-handers, National League, Francisco Cervelli.
Is D. Gordon third?
D. Gordon's over 330, I know, against lefties.
D. Gordon getting the night off tonight after 4 stolen bases last night. Dan Jennings had told Gordon last week he was going to get a day off, so against the lefty, Gordon sits. He'll be back in there tomorrow. It's ball 4. And Hechavarria on his way down to first. Now, this to me is a clear indication how thin Miami's bullpen is.
Without question.
I mean, it's bottom 5. You're down 5. You get a leadoff man on, and Portier is going to take the at bat. So obviously expect him to try to bunt. Drops it down like he's been doing it his whole life. That's good stuff. You don't get a lot of bunting as a reliever in the minor leagues.
That was picture perfect.
Now Miami has to pay it off and get this run in. Cole Gillespie, Miguel Rojas behind him.
Cole Gillespie came into the game. That average against lefties and also runners in scoring position. Doesn't have as many at bats to qualify as some that are in that top 10.
Yeah, D. Gordon is fourth right now behind Paul Goldschmidt, and as mentioned, Cervelli and Echeverria. Gillespie knocks it foul. It's 0-2. Back foot breaking ball. A ball and 2 strikes.
Well, the way that Locke has worked tonight, you know that Clint Hurdle is planning in his head how he wants to use his bullpen.
Gillespie towards the line. Harrison is there, makes the catch. Echeverria tagging is going to get to third. Good hustle by Etch, with Harrison being drawn over to the line. Even though he didn't get a clean start from second, he gets to third pretty easily.
Yeah, good hustle and good decision making.
Now Rojas. It's popped out and doubled.
Yeah, the Marlins tonight with a couple of singles, 2 doubles, a home run. Looking for a triple. The Marlins are third in the National League with 34 triples. And you think of the 2 teams that are ahead of them, and you think of ballparks that are nice triples parks. Colorado and Arizona.
Rojas to left, and Miami has ended the last 2 innings with line drives right in an outfielder. Pirates have been dancing most of the night. 7-2 Pittsburgh. That's a fun foam finger. Cordier starts lockout with a fastball for a strike. Josh Harrison, Starling Marte follow in the 6th. Pirates 7-2. They did their damage early against Chris Narveson. A run in the first 6 in the 2nd.
Cordier nice and relaxed. You can see an easy 98 miles an hour that last pitch.
So, let me ask you this. With that description, is Cordier a max effort guy?
That's a good question.
What determines max effort? Is it a guy that just is
How loud you grunt, maybe?
is just blowing it out as hard as he can go?
Yeah, all the time. See, right now, watching him and seeing him miss with that breaking ball, I would lean toward no on that answer.
Catch. Gets the out. Is there such thing as a max effort broadcaster? I think Dick Vitale would be a max effort.
Dick Vitale's max effort. It's still going strong.
And one of our favorites over in the Tampa St. Pete area. Hashtag FL Data Strong Fan. It's a chance to be featured in an upcoming telecast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Carly. Very nice, Carly. Josh Harrison's up.
Yeah, I would categorize a max effort guy who just throws hard, really doesn't have much breaking ball, change up, anything like that.
Well, he touched 98 on that fastball.
But certainly easier to be max effort out of the bullpen than as a starter.
See, the top of the range is 99. And that was an easy 98. And that's something you hear scouts, pitching coaches, general managers talk about with starters that maybe don't have command of 3 pitches and throw mid-90s. And that is, you know what, you move into the bullpen, he's going to gain 2 or 3 miles an hour. Now, Cordier certainly looks sharp here tonight. Echeverria makes the catch, and there's 2 outs. Oh, let me tell you about the Wolverines, Tommy Hutton. Fox Sports 1 and college football, and it all starts on September 3rd. Michigan visits Utah. The debut of Jim Harbaugh. And you can only see it on Fox Sports 1. It streams live on Fox Sports Go. Big Ten Pac-12 matchup.
One of our assignments. I'm gonna put this on myself as we venture out on the road to Washington and Atlanta. Both clubhouses conducive to have chats with the players, is to find out if Eric Cordier always threw this hard. Because when you see a guy who throws upper 90s, he'll mix in a pretty good slider. You look and you wonder why it took him so long to get the chance.
I had a conversation with him, and one of the things he said,
you beat me to it,
is his velocity came late. He credits it to mechanics, smoothing things out, and once he did that, he saw an uptick in velocity. But no, have at him, because there's more to that story. He's a fascinating guy, and I only had a chance for a 2 or 3 minute chat on my way out, and he had to go somewhere as well.
Yeah, I just enjoyed how he embraced that opportunity to pitch in Milwaukee, and how he said he used to go to sleep as a kid listening to Bob Uecker.
Echeverria around it. Eric Courtier has been splendid here tonight, retiring all 7 that he has faced. And he's kept it a 7-2 ball game. Reports from around the country, latest from NFL training camps. Get you ready for a full night of Major League action. America's pregame every weekday, 5 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. It streams live on Fox Sports Go. Martin Prado for Miami. Jeff Locke into his 6th inning of work. Prado homered in the first. Marlins got another run in the second. An Ozuna double and a Real Muto ground out, but that's it.
I think a big pitch for Jeff Locke was back in the 4th inning. The Marlins had runners at first and second. He was able to get a double play ball out of Christian Yelich. You know, we talked about him being an all-star in 2013. He was 10-7 on the year, but he was 8-2 first half of the season. I think you and I talked about this when we were in Pittsburgh. He's from New Hampshire. There have been some other pretty good New Hampshire all-stars as far as pitchers.
Gung makes the throw. Well, I know they didn't come from his high school. He's the only one that's ever been drafted out of his high school in Conway, New Hampshire.
Yeah, not from his high school, but Bob Tewksbury from New Hampshire. Brian Wilson, terrific closer, and Chris Carpenter from New Hampshire.
Was Carlton Fisk a New Hampshire guy? I know. That's why they have Baseball Reference.
We'll find out in a quick moment.
Justin Bour, infield hit and a strikeout.
Yes, he was. Then went on to Keene State College in Keene, New Hampshire, and then the University of New Hampshire. Wow. For Carlton Fisk. Hall of Famer.
I think Bour had his mind made up. He was going to swing. When the previous pitch went back to Locke, because he just uncorked a wild hack. Look at where that pitch was. See what he gets. This time a low fastball. It's 3-1. Bohr lifts it right field. Josh Harrison makes the catch. Marlins watch party's coming up. The whole enchilada, one of Billy's favorites. It's fresh Mexican. Nice bar there as well. In Plantation. Prizes, tickets, all of that. Marlins.com for information. It's Marlins and Nationals, Friday night, 7:05 at the whole enchilada.
See, I don't know if at Nationals Park we can find any Mexican food. If there's a concession, but it would be nice to join the watch party and have a little taste of Mexican food as they do.
Bebidas.
I know they have the good chili at Nationals Park, but it might be 90 degrees, so I might pass on that.
Luck bounces one up there.
Ben's famous chili.
Is it the Blue Smoke Barbecue in right field? Next to Shake Shack. That is a good food ballpark. Changeup is out. Ozuna takes it. Full count now, 3-2.
I'll tell you what, the Mets with a 4-0 lead. Nationals trail 5-1. They're going to be in panic mode, perhaps.
Ozuna strikes out, slams down the bat. Jeff Locke has filed away 6 solid innings.
Pirates 7, Marlins 2. You know the Marlins came into existence in 1993, and one number in particular has been worn more than any other number in Marlins history by more players. Is it number 38? Could it be B, 29? Could be players or coaches. C, number 16, or is it D, number 50? Now, should we give you an out? Let's give you a little time to think about it.
I'm going to guess one right off the bat, because they always say go with your instincts.
Okay.
You do that at the tables, Craig.
That's right.
I'm going to say 16.
Okay.
I'm going to go 50 simply because Cordier wears 50, and the story fits with Cordier pitching.
You have your producer hat on,
Yes.
Mr. Waltz.
See, I'm not that in depth.
Well, look,
Sabermetrics, Tommy.
there's a slight caveat.
Embrace
here.
it.
The caveat is number 38 has been worn 17 times, but by only 15 players and coaches, because Reed Cornelius in the bullpen has worn it on 3 different occasions. But he had to give it up when Michael Morse took it. So 38 is not the answer. It is D. You're right, Rich. Number 50, Eric Cordier became the 17th different player or coach to wear this number, snapping a tie with number 29.
See, Rich, that's why you got a degree in college.
Who's the most memorable number 50?
Well, the last one is Chad Qualls. But I have a couple that have wore number 50 in Marlins history. Todd Jones is a fun reliever. Ryan Dempster.
There you go.
And in one of his stints
One of
here,
our favorites.
Julian Tavares wore number 50 in one of his stints here. I think I saw that Brad Penny wore 3 different numbers, guys, as a Marlin. So sometimes it happens and you come back, like we did that story on Casey McGee the other day. It was number 9 last year and he's number 5 this year.
Well, maybe since we mentioned Chad Qualls, the production team can dig up that great celebration by Qualls, which lives on the 10-run reel right now, but we might be able to coax it out of them tonight. 2-2 pitch. Cordier has been outstanding here tonight. He's retired all 7 that he's faced. He gets McCutchen, Aramis Ramirez, and Jung Ho Kang.
2 1/3 innings that Cordier has pitched to this point, a career high as far as innings pitched.
That is a strike.
That's a beauty.
Gorgeous pitch to a right-hander. Change up at 86. Oh, excuse me, a tumbler.
Yeah, breaking ball. There's no way McCutchen thought he was going to get that, and in a perfect spot too. It gives some credit to JT Realmuto.
Here is Aramis Ramirez. Tommy, this is a point of discussion over the last few years. And Joe Frizzaro on MLB.com has an article that was published tonight. And it is Marlins team president David Samson said today the team is considering moving in and lowering the fences at what has become one of the toughest places in Major League Baseball to hit home runs. Samson's quote, "We haven't formulated a final plan, still looking, but trying to make a decision for next season." Marlins ranked 29th in the majors in home runs with 91, are tied for 26th with Oakland at home. 42 homers.
Well, I don't think you have to ask me to know what I feel about that. I think it's a good idea. The Mets have done it a couple of times. Padres did it after they moved into Petco. And there are some areas, I mean, it doesn't have to be drastic. There are a couple of areas here it could be done and blend in nicely.
Well, the interesting part of the story, as well as the fences coming in, is the fences coming down. And that the Marlins are considering lowering the fences.
I love to see an outfielder. How many times on late night sports shows you see an outfielder reaching over, robbing a home run, making a great catch? You can't do that here because they're too high.
They are, and they get higher at the deepest parts. You see the camera go through center.
When in essence they should get lower because it's so deep out there.
Anyways, that's on MLB.com.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear.
Joe Frizzaro, the article tonight, if you want to check it out. The other thing, and there's lots of theories over this, the Marlins, I think a lot of people felt this would be a great place for doubles. The Marlins are last in the majors in doubles at home this year with 85. Since 2012, Miami 26th in doubles in Major League Baseball. So it's not just this season.
Well, and the bottom line, the Marlins coming into tonight are next to last in runs. So there's one thing to say you're going to build your team around pitching. Well, first of all, you have to keep that pitching healthy. Good pitch there for another strikeout. The other thing is you still have to score runs, no matter who's out there pitching. So I think all those little things might help.
Michael Morse now. Eric Cordier trying to get through the 7th.
They may move us further away, though.
As long as we're in the ballpark, I'm happy.
That's what we say in Washington.
Well, that's an extreme. Washington is. We're on the 7th level above the lights. Morse doubled in the 2nd, is flying out, struck out.
Hey, Rich, remember a couple of innings ago you said, I know it's a little early, and you were talking about that game in Detroit, the Angels, Tigers. Miggy's hit a home run. Tigers have a 5-0 lead. Through 6 innings, Verlander has not allowed a hit.
Eric Cordier has thrown 43 pitches. And he strikes out Morse with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. 3 strikeouts in the inning, 4 on the night. Eric Cordier, fantastic 3 1/3. You want a flashback? Here it is. Chad Qualls, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa! A great recovery.
That still cracks me up.
(7-2). Pirates on top.
He made a great recovery, and he was fantastic in the dugout with it, too. Sean Rodriguez comes in the game to play first base.
So Rodriguez at first, Yelich, Realmuto, and Echeverria in the bottom of the 7th. Jeff Locke has been outstanding. Much better than his last start. Giants got to him for 11 hits and 6 runs in 5 innings and beat him. It's the only game the Giants won in that series. Yelich off that foot guard, but still doesn't feel great. Walker gets the out. Yelich 3 ground balls to Walker tonight. Tomorrow night, 7:10 start. Visit your South Florida Subway restaurant. Get a coupon for a $5 ticket. Seniors 55 and older also get free tickets on Senior Free Ticket Thursday, presented by Wellmax Medical Centers. Realmuto's lined to center and knocked in a run with a ground ball out.
One of those many line drives that JT has hit throughout the season.
Justin Verlander has walked 1, struck out 5 through 6. Ramirez gets Realmuto. What have we here?
What's that called? Pitch and stitch?
Pitch and stitch at the park.
The beauty of a relaxed baseball game atmosphere, probably not going to see that at an NFL game or an NBA game.
Can't say that I have. Gung on a hop gets Echeverria. He can play defense too. It's Jung Ho Kang. 1, 2, 3 go the fifth. Jeff Locke 7 very nice innings for the Pirates of Pittsburgh.
Well, that guy, Andrew McCutchen, it didn't take him very long to put the Pirates on the scoreboard. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Didn't take the Marlins very long to answer. Martin Prado with a flash, 1-1 tie, but everything opened up in the second inning. Neil Walker found the gap in right center field. He wasn't alone. Chris Stewart, starting tonight behind the plate, has had a nice year backing up Francisco Cervelli. Another base hit and a run coming in to score. Big blast. Seems like this guy is in the center of the stage all the time. Andrew McCutchen, a 4 RBI night with a double and a home run. The Marlins were able to peck away, picked up a run on the ground out from JT Realmuto, but that's how it stands now. 7-2 Pittsburgh And there is Scott McGuff coming in to pitch. A few changes for Dan Jennings and his ball club.
First is McGuff. Next is McGee. He's at third. Martin Prado ends up in second. And Miguel Rojas is at shortstop. And the Pirates have Neil Walker at the plate. Bottom third of the order, Walker, Stewart, and Locke. And for the Pirates, who lost the game on both ends with a loss last night, a 5-run lead here in the 8th. Walker has his second hit. The Cardinals, their lead at 4.5 in the Central. The Pirates behind them, but Pittsburgh's first in the wild card. However, that wild card lead in the 1 spot reduced to 2 games with another Cubs win last night. Cubs are in San Francisco tonight. And the Cubs continue to play at just a record-setting pace. They've won 21 of their last 25 games. That's their best 25-game stretch since 1938. Justin Verlander's into the top of the 7th with 1 out. Got a no-hitter. McGee tested early, gets the out at first. And Verlander right now is at 76 pitches. Tomorrow finishes the series. Chevron will bring you the starters. There it is, a little blue car. It's appointed rounds. Garrett Cole, Justin Nicolino. You can see Cole has been a horse. 25 starts, over 162 innings. Look at the walks to strikeouts for Cole. Jeff Conine will be wearing his UCLA tie in honor of Garrett Cole. Nicolino looking for win number 3.
But if you look at it this way, in the month of August, Garrett Cole 0-3 in his 5 starts. Pretty good ERA, though, 3.60 during that time.
Pedro Alvarez takes the at-bat. This is Locke's spot. Ha!
Speaking of Pirate pitching, I had a chat with the former Marlin pitcher on the disabled list now with the Pirates, A.J. Burnett. A.J. Burnett 8-5 in his 21 starts with a 3.06 ERA. Hopes to get back. He threw the other day, said a little tendonitis.
Walker at second. Alvarez, who's got big power, drove in a run in a pinch hitting appearance last night on a ground ball out.
Just looking rich. A.J. Burnett in his 16th Major League season, in his 21st year as a professional.
Originally a New York Met farmhand.
Drafted by the Mets. Eighth round.
He's come a long ways in a lot of ways.
Yes, he has.
Alvarez walks. In his early years as a Marlin, if you're talking about A.J. Burnett, you would not have him on your leadership committee. he might be the last guy you'd think of in that spot, but that's exactly what Clint Hurdle decided to put him into when A.J. arrived here in Pittsburgh, and Hurdle liked his attitude, made him one of the leaders, a leadership committee. They've got someone from each group.
2012, he had that 16-win season, won 10 games in 13, and then went to Philadelphia. He was with the Phillies last year. A lot of people thought that was it for A.J. Lost 18 games.
They get him back full strength headed towards the end of September. That'll just add to that rotation. McGuff's breaking balls popped in the air. Moore calls for it and catches. Yesterday, the good news for Pirate fans and for AJ was a sim game. Now, a sim game is pitcher on the mound throwing to live hitters with a screen, but with the catcher. I think he won the game.
He did. Pirates did.
There's a strike. That's when you know a pitcher is not ready to come off the DL, Tommy, is when he loses a sim game. AJ's ready.
That's when you're having a bad year, too.
Getting ready. Not there yet. That man McCutcheon is on deck. He's homered and doubled. Starling Marte at the plate.
Well, McGuff's made a couple of really good pitches to get ahead 0-2 to Marte. And put him away with a really good fastball.
That's a nice finish to the inning for Scott McGuff. 7-2 Pittsburgh.
We go. Looks like Casey McGehee is going to get a opportunity here at the plate. And earlier today, the Marlins had their media session a little earlier than normal because they held their picture day about 3:30. Takes a little while. Dennis and Rob doing a great job with the Marlins Photog staff getting the boys all set. They make it look so easy to get a big group together. Finally, the guys had their casual poses. A little smooch from Jose to Ozuna. They had a little technical issue in the middle of the shoot. They got to do their funny stance. Manager Dan Jennings, his coaching staff, all posing for that annual picture, which is always a neat thing to look back on year after year. And you see this at all the stadiums we go to, all the years of Major League Baseball in whatever city you're in. It's kind of a neat thing for the players to take part of, and they usually do it about this time of year when you get the roster settled before they expand come September. Guys?
All right, thank you, Craig. Casey McGee. High pop off of Joe Blanton, who's in. Harrison makes a catch. This was the talk. Now, Dee Gordon, we've seen him gliding around different cities.
I saw him in Boston.
I saw him in Chicago
on that thing. And you know what? He makes it look easy. And then I saw somebody trying it for the first time, and it didn't look that easy.
It's like a mini Segway, it looks like. Cole Gillespie now with Miguel Rojas to follow.
Joe Blanton had his contract purchased from Kansas City by the Pirates. And he's done a nice job pitching out of the bullpen for Pittsburgh. This is his 8th appearance.
Veteran guy, longtime Philly.
5 years Philly, 5 years Oakland.
Had a nice start in Oakland to his career. And a World Series ring as a Philly. World Series home run as a Philly. By the way, Justin Verlander is through 7 with that no-hitter. Struck out Mike Trout and Pujols to get through the top of the 7th.
Joe Blanton can say in postseason he's 2-0 in 10 games, 6 starts.
Walker calls, Harrison overrules, and Blanton's got a couple of outs. There comes Rojas. Well, this was a game that the Pirates jumped out early on the fish in. 6 runs in the second to take a 7-1 lead. Chris Narveson felt the brunt of that. All 7 runs, 8 hits. Eric Cordier was outstanding. 3 1/3 of hitless relief with 4 strikeouts and a walk. Scott McGuff, scoreless 8th inning. Pitch in. And it's a ball and a strike.
It's going to be an interesting decision for Brad Ausmus with Verlander. He had never been on the disabled list, and all of a sudden things started to give out a little bit. April through June this year, he was on the disabled list with a right tricep strain. So they've been careful watching his pitch counts and all that.
2-2 in the dirt.
He's thrown 85 pitches through those 7 innings.
So Mike Fiers, just in reading the stories about that no-hitter the other night, told A.J. Hinch when he came off in the 8th, "I'm not coming out. You can't take me out." That's a heck of a play and a great throw on the dive by Aramis Ramirez. The veteran can still get it done. First the dive, the recovery, and the throw. Yes, right? You want MLB at bat. You need MLB.com at bat. If you want to check in with live look-ins in HD on any of your devices at Justin Verlander's no-hit bid. MLB.com for your smartphone or your tablet. Andrew McCutchen, a couple strikeouts his last 2 at-bats, but an RBI double and a 3-run homer in his first 2. And he sends that one to left. Yelich a few steps back, makes the catch. Checkers brings you Marlins Live. Big second inning for the Pirates. Greg Minervini and Jeff Conine.
It's been a night that we've gotten a real good look at Eric Cordier and Scott McGough. McGough had a good inning last inning. Cordier a career high 3 1/3. 4 strikeouts.
Well, this is a big night certainly for Scott McGough. I know it's a 7-2 ball game. But remember, he's a high school kid from Pittsburgh. Plum High School in Pittsburgh. Ended up at the University of Oregon. Dodgers 5th round pick, 2011. Just his 3rd appearance in the big leagues. And here are the hometown Pirates. Born in Monroeville, Pennsylvania.
Not quite like Cordier pitching against the Brewers in Milwaukee, but still pitching against his hometown team.
Breaking ball misses out. You never know. He may have grown up listening to Greg Brown, Tim Neverett.
I'm saying he might have been a Lanny Fratteri guy. Possibly a Bob Walker. Always good, by the way, to see John Wayner, who does some TV and radio work with the Pirates.
Three and 2. And McGough came in the 8th. A walk and a strikeout. So this is a night that this 25-year-old will always remember. Rojas, who's known as a very good defensive infielder.
That's the amazing thing about Miguel Rojas since he's been here. Shortstop is his premier position. We've actually seen him more at 3rd base and 2nd base. But he handles that position defensively tremendously.
Jung Ho Kang. And it's 0-2. McGough coming up in the minor leagues. Always a reliever. That's a strike. And he strikes out Kang. Scott McGough against his hometown team looks sharp tonight. your South Florida Honda dealers. And by Kubota. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubota.com. Martin Prado at the plate. Joe Blanton whistles a fastball in there for a strike. Marlins last chance, bottom 9. It's been a 5-run lead for the Pirates since the bottom of the 2nd inning. And good pitching by both sides from that point on. Jeff Locke went 7. Joe Blanton retired all 3 that he faced in the 8th. For the Marlins, Eric Cordier and Scott McGough have combined for 5 1/3 scoreless relief.
Blanton was always one of those guys that can get away with a high fastball even though he's not overpowering. Good slider there. Just kind of hides the ball well. Short arm delivery.
Prado strikes out. Blanton looks like he's ready to start again. Here comes Justin Bour. Bour has struck out and the infield hit and has lined out. You mentioned Blanton, a World Series hero for the Phils. Hitting a home run. It's the only homer he ever hit as a big leaguer. You know it's trouble when they start to put the needles away, Tommy. They know Joe Blanton's throwing hard. You know, you mentioned that, but I'm just looking quickly. Blanton in regular season play, 215 at bats. But his only home run coming in the World Series. Last chance for the Fish, Marcell Ozuna. A couple hits in 3 trips. One and 2. Justin Verlander threw 8, has that no-hitter. Now is the time to deploy your device, right? With the MLB.com at bat. Ozuna strikes out. Joe Blanton looks sharp. He strikes out the side in the 9th. And the Pirates gained some revenge for last night. They beat the Marlins decisively here tonight with a quick start and plenty of pitching. 7-2. The final here tonight. 7 runs, 9 hits for the Pittsburghers. 2 runs, 5 hits for Miami. A 6-run 2nd inning. The undoing of the Marlins here tonight. Andrew McCutchen with the big blow, a 3-run homer. Well, highlights of that Verlander game, update you on his no-hit bid. Highlights of this one all coming up on Marlins Live.